Hi, everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the challenges I've experienced since discovering conscious creation. And it's not from a place of I've mastered this, but from a place of lived experience. And my hope is that if you're on a similar path, this helps you feel less alone and maybe saves you some time and frustration. So, just to give some background, I first discovered conscious creation back in 2017. At the time, I had hit a pretty significant emotional bottom after being in a toxic situationship that I was in and out of for about 2 years. I was exhausted, I felt totally defeated, and honestly, I was looking for answers anywhere I could find them. And around that time, I read Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, and that was my first real introduction to the idea of manifesting and conscious creation. So I set a very clear intention to manifest my soulmate. And from there, what unfolded wasn't easy or quick. It took about 9 months, and it did involve a lot of emotional work and uncomfortable growth, but it did happen. I did end up manifesting the relationship, and I'm now married to someone I genuinely consider a soulmate. After that, I thought I had conscious creation figured out. I truly believed I had unlocked the formula and could now manifest anything I wanted, and that did not happen. Instead, I spent years feeling like I was hitting an invisible wall, trying all the popular manifesting laws and techniques, especially within the law of attraction space, and not getting the results that I wanted. So eventually, I discovered the law of assumption, which resonated a lot more and helped me regain some traction. But even then, it still felt like there was something blocking me. And these blocks, I just couldn't figure out what they were. And it was really frustrating. So today, I just want to share a few things I've learned that I genuinely believe would have sped up my manifestation process if I'd known them earlier. So the first thing is that techniques don't manifest for you. And this is a big one for me. There's a lot of manifesting techniques out there: visualizing, affirmations, scripting, state akin to sleep. And they can absolutely be helpful, but they don't actually make you manifest. The purpose of any technique is simply to help you get into the internal state of feeling that you already have what you want. So, for a long time, I believed that if I visualized long enough or said affirmations a certain number of times per day or found the perfect technique, that that would somehow make my manifestation happen. So I'd do my affirmations, check the box, and move on with my day. What I didn't realize was that the rest of my day also mattered a lot. So I was saying affirmations and then spending the majority of my time without consciously realizing it in a state of lack. So I was worrying and doubting, noticing what wasn't there yet. And I later learned that your dominant state of consciousness is what ultimately gets reflected back to you in the 3D. So affirming abundance for 10 minutes and then living the rest of my day in scarcity didn't get me anywhere. What would have helped me a lot would have been focusing less on techniques and more on just becoming the version of me who already had what I wanted. That's the whole goal of the law of assumption. And for me, that meant a lot of work around self concept, not just my self esteem, but my beliefs, my assumptions, the emotional patterns that I had, and just my overall outlook on my life. And it also meant addressing unresolved trauma from my earlier years because that trauma affected my nervous system and my sense of what felt safe or possible. So until that was addressed, no amount of affirmations could really override it. The second thing is understanding what feeling it real actually means. And this was another thing that confused me for a long time. It was this idea of feeling it real. I used to think that that meant I needed to feel intense emotions like joy or gratitude or excitement all the time. And if I wasn't feeling those feelings, I assumed that I wasn't doing it right or that I wasn't doing it enough. But Neville Goddard actually taught that successful manifestation comes from the degree to which your desired state feels natural and normal, not intense, normal. For example, when I got engaged, the day it happened, I felt ecstatic. I was over the moon. But a few months later, I was still happy, but it just felt normal, like it was a normal part of my life. And that's what feeling it real actually means. It's when the desire no longer feels charged or distant, but familiar. So once I understood this, I stopped trying to force emotions and instead just focused on allowing my desire to feel like a normal part of my identity. The third thing was looking for signs, and this one really kept me stuck for years. In a lot of manifesting spaces, especially within the law of attraction, we're taught to look for signs like angel numbers, synchronicities, just little confirmations in the 3D that something is coming. And I'm not sharing this to criticize that approach. This is just my personal experience. For me, constantly looking for signs kept my attention locked on the external world. It kept me asking, is it here yet? Is it working? And it kept me looking for something, which is still a state of lack. So the way I understand it now is that the 3D world is just a delayed reflection of what was impressed in the subconscious mind weeks or even months ago. It's like looking into a mirror that has a time lag. So checking the 3D for confirmation was actually delaying things for me. The most accurate indicator of whether something is coming isn't what's happening on the outside, it's what's happening on the inside. So do you feel settled? Do you know it's yours? Or are you still searching outside of you for reassurance? In several of Neville Goddard's lectures, he says signs follow, they do not precede. And that really landed for me. I used to constantly look for angel numbers and feel hopeful when I saw them, but when I reflected back, I realized that seeing these number patterns or synchronicities never really led to anything. They just kept me hooked in waiting mode. And as an experiment, I also started manifesting small, neutral things. So objects I didn't have a lot of emotional attachment to, like a pink car, a purple car, even a rainbow turtle. I'd visualize them and then I would drop it and just go about my day. And I ended up seeing all of these things, which just further reinforced what Neville said about signs following and not proceeding. So the fourth thing is karmic complexes, and this was by far my biggest blind spot. I did make another video about this and I linked it down below. A karmic complex, it's a term coined by Roger Wolger, refers to an unresolved past life wound that lives in the subtle energy body. These wounds can shape beliefs, patterns, and recurring experiences without us consciously realizing it. And unless a karmic complex is resolved, it continues to broadcast a certain frequency, and no matter how much conscious manifesting work you do, you're going to keep running into resistance. For me, this explains so much as far as why it felt like there was this invisible force working against me while trying to manifest. It wasn't that I was doing manifestation wrong. There were just deeper energetic imprints influencing me. So once those were addressed, manifestation became far more natural and less effortful for me. So if you've been doing all the right things and you still feel stuck, I just want you to know it's not a personal failure. There are layers to manifestation that go beyond techniques and surface level mindset work. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to explore this work more, I'll leave resources below. Thanks for being here.